Hi there, wonderful awakening beings and spiritual souls. Jo Rose at jorose.com, numerologist and energy forecaster. And in this video, I want to share with you the benefit of understanding the essence number and how it affects or works with or opposes your personal year number. What's the difference? This is what we're about to find out. And we're finding out on this fabulous February day in my garden, in my sunny dress, enjoying the most amazing blue sky ever. And it just makes my work so much better. I am influenced by the sun, I have to say. So to recap on a personal year, and I will leave the link below for the playlist of personal year information and specific personal years for the current year. A personal year runs January to December, just like the universal year. And I am aware that there are numerologists out there that state otherwise. But if you actually probe, they cannot give you a specific reason why. And that's just because that's the way they were taught. And what I find is when it's just the way they were taught, and I have checked this with some quite high up numerologists, and why not? That's the way I was taught. But it's an easy, quick way to find the base number. And that's great, but when you want to really get deep and understand why two life path fours can be totally different, or in case of the four, three life path fours can be totally different, then you need to understand what made the number, the base number. With the four, you can have a 4 energy, you can have a 13-4, which is a karmic debt energy, you could have a 22-4, which is a master number energy, and a 31-4, which is the normal base 4 energy. But even the 13 and the 31 gives you a different insight of how the numbers work. So I'm a really detailed person because I like to get to the crux of who you really are. And I had to do this by finding out who I really am. So it runs January to December. Those that may say otherwise, chances are their birthday's around January or December and they don't notice the slight difference in the change because they run concurrently. The essence number, however, does run from your date of birth. And unlike the personal year that runs 1 to 9, the essence number does not have a pattern like that. There is a pattern to understand, but everybody's pattern is unique. Just like your numerology. Your numerology is your blueprint, your code of who you are, why you're here, and what it's all about. So the essence number is worked from specific letter formation of your birth name. And I'm going to give you an example in a minute of a name that I've made very easy for this exercise. Before I do, let's just understand the personal year number is about the outward influences, about what's coming to you, challenges and opportunities, whether it be in your home, your work, your country, your industry, whatever it is, you are affected by the external influence. The essence number is your internal influence, what you're ready to attract and integrate into your soul's journey, because it's all about your soul's journey. And so we look at the essence number to see what is it that I want to get from this situation, whereas a similar person on a same personal year as me will be looking for something else. And that's why we don't have the same. And so why do we keep going to other people to help us answer our questions when all the answers lie within? And numerology can help you so much when you understand, especially when you calculate it the right way around. So in a universal year, that you will have one personal year number and possibly 2 essence numbers depending when your birthday falls. And I say possibly because an essence number can last from 1 year or many years. And I think, if I recall right, I'm currently in an 8-year essence number. So this same essence number I have with me for 8 years. In a birthday year, there will be 1 essence number and 2 personal year numbers. And this explains why, if you've had a personal month 2 at the beginning of the year and a personal month 2 towards the end of the year, they will be different. And that's because you've had a birthday in between. In a 12-month period, let's say, I don't know, April to April, or April to March, because that would be 13 otherwise. So April to March, you could have 2 personal years and 2 essence numbers. Interesting. Confusing? Maybe. The calculation is not the simplest calculation, but once you understand it, it will make sense. All numbers mean the same. 1 is about leadership and independence, 2 is about support and harmony, 3 is about self-expression and creativity, and so on. So they all mean the same. How they affect us depends on where they fall in the numbers. So I've explained personal year is external, essence number is internal. To work out your essence number, get a paper and pen, ready? The alphabet has 26 letters, A to Z. So if you was to write the numbers across the top, 1 to 9, because the numbers work 1 to 9, and you was to go on the first row under each number, so A under 1, B under 2, C under 3, D under 4, and so on, I would be under 9. Then you'd go to the second row, J would be under 1, and you'd work all the way through again, and to the next row, S would be under 1, ending with Z under 8. So because there is no 9, there isn't a 27th letter of the alphabet. So now you understand that each one of the numbers, each one of the letters falls under a specific number, you will be able to calculate your essence number. So I've got an example here, Anne Belinda Charles. I made it really easy for myself because it's an ABC name. So Anne begins with a letter A, and that's a 1 energy. So we'd put a 1. Belinda is her second name, and that is a B, and B is a 2 energy. And Charles is a C, so it's a 3 energy. So if we add 3 to 1, 1, 2, 3 together, we get a 6. So if we say that Anne is in a personal year 3, her essence number for that year is a 6. Now it could last longer, but in Anne's case it will not last longer. And so she's got a 6. So the 3 energy is all about self-expression, communication, creativity, emotions, and so on. And to understand more about the 3 energy for this year, check out the universal link below for 2019, because that's a 3 energy, so it's impacting us strongly. Anne's essence number is a 6. So what does Anne want? So outside, she's being affected by all of this, but her inside is all about family, home, nurturing, growth, support, and connection. So Anne is really very much bonny and bright, happy in the family. There will be expressions coming up externally, and Anne may find them working with her or against her, depending on what the influences of the other people are. But this is how you can look at what's happening. In Anne's following year, she will be in she'll be in a 1 essence and a personal year 4. So she's in a 1 essence, and that comes because the A only lasted for 1 year, the B lasts for 2, and the C lasts for 3. So we now take the N, which is the second letter of Anne's first name, and that's a 5 energy, the B is a 2 energy, and the C is a 3 energy. Add that together, it's a 10, 1 plus 0 is a 1. So next year, Anne, in her 2 year, is going to be very independent. It will be my way. I want to learn to do my shoes. I'm independent. So if you think about your child, those terrible 2s, this is what you've got going on. However, the 4 energy, her personal year 4 energy, is going to make her wise beyond her years, because she's going to want to understand the details. Chances are she'll learn to tie her shoes in that year. She'll learn to do more things in that year, because the 4 is very practical, very hands-on, and wants to build and lay the foundations. In Anne's 3rd year, she will again have a different essence number. The N still exists, because we've still got 4 years to run from it. The B has gone now. So we've got an E, the C is on its last year. So what we've now got is 5 plus 5, 5 for the N, 5 for the E, and 3 for the Charles, the C. We've got 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now this is why I say it's important to understand the calculation of the numbers. This is a 13-4. So it's a 4 energy for Anne, and while it's a 4 energy, it's a 13-4. And I say to people, when people say, well, 13-4 is it's a karmic debt energy, but Anne will want to master something on a deeper level. So she will be more detailed. She could be a why child. She'll want to understand, and she'll want you involved in doing things to help her understand this. She'll have a personal year 5, and this will be a very conflicted energy because the 5 is all about chaos and freedom, but she's very regimented, and she'll feel like if you're in a rush to get somewhere, or she's being pulled to go somewhere, if she hasn't got things right because the inside wants to get things right, there'll be a conflict of energies. In the following year, in Anne's 4th year, the N remains, the E remains, and now we have the 8 of the H. And this is how you calculate your essence number. Understanding this will help you see how you and your partner or colleague that's in the same personal year will view things differently. When you get to understand your essence number, you will know more of what it is that you want to get from this current year. The essence number can last a lot longer than the personal year number, and it will influence you differently as it changes. I hope this has been insightful, and if you want to learn more about the essence number, or have a reading or a consultation, or even take a coaching program with me so that you can really learn who you are, because your numerology, your date of birth and your name at birth is the key to who you are, why you're here, and what it's all about for you. Please subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, because I'm going to start sharing energy videos with you over the year of general jobs, general things that we can do that can stop energy blocks and create energy flow. Knowing your essence number is a key part of this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.